everyone. I'm Danielle Terciano.
And I'm Michael Schneider, and welcome to another edition of Variety's Awards Heat, where we analyze and dissect the Emmy races. And this time out, we are looking at the competition category, which last year was won by RuPaul's Drag Race. Let's break it down, Danielle.
I think we should start there. I think that's a perfect place. You know, RuPaul's Drag Race has won for the last 2 consecutive years.
Get dragged into the phenomenon.
When it came in for the win 2 years ago, it was kind of this uproar. You know, it had defeated The Voice, which was on a streak, and really showed a tide turn, I think, for this category. And I think that now, given the success it had this season with its pivots, it had to do its finale and its reunion special remotely because of COVID. I just think that it's firing on all cylinders. And now that it is in that club of we know it, we're familiar with it, we check that box, I don't see how it just is not a front runner for the win, but especially, for a nomination.
Yeah, this is a category that doesn't change all that often. As a matter of fact, maybe at most one show switches out every year. This year, The Amazing Race is not eligible, which is, of course, one of the titans of this category. It won 10 times. So that at least opens the door for one new candidate. But you mentioned The Voice.
Is what this show is all about.
It's not a phenomenon like it once was. People aren't talking about it as much, but because it's a perennial nominee and a past winner, it'll probably still get nominated. And this year, at least, there is something interesting in shows like The Voice and also American Idol, which is midway through the second half of the season. They all had to go home. They all had to do these remote broadcasts. So you had Kelly Clarkson broadcasting from Montana. You had Blake Shelton from his home in Oklahoma. You had John Legend and Nick Jonas also from their homes as the judges. So maybe voters will be interested in seeing how they mixed it up. Maybe not. Maybe they just automatically vote for The Voice. But that's a show that has been in this category for so long. I can't see it going away just yet.
We did have a surprise last year. You mentioned we could have another one this year. I would love to see another one this year. But I also think the surprise that we had last year with Nailed It from Netflix getting into the race was a really pleasant one.
To bake or not to bake? That is the question. Lucky for you, we've got the answer. Bake!
It kind of came out of nowhere, I think, last year. We were all talking about if anything is going to upend this category, it's going to be The Masked Singer. And then yet here comes this food competition show that features amateur bakers who, let's face it, are not very good at decorating. And it just had this really relatable charm. And Nicole Byer as the host, she's also a comedian, just makes it so fun and infectious to watch that I can understand why voters got swept up in it. And if you're at home right now, as we all are, looking for something to watch with your family, it definitely ticks that box. I think this is a series where people may watch it and say, hey, how do I stack up? And so it has a little bit more relevance now than it even did last year.
And now on the other end of the cooking spectrum, we have another previous winner in Top Chef.
How was it?
It was really hard to taste the fish. Poker face.
They're not going to give us
We got a long season ahead.
There was one episode in particular where they paid tribute to the late Pulitzer Prize winning writer Jonathan Gold, which was a very touching episode. I think I even got choked up watching that episode. Really, really amazingly done. I think this year really stood out in terms of this all-star edition, bringing back some of the favorites, but also really diving deep into the culture of food in Los Angeles. And I think that may really resonate with a lot of the LA voters of the TV Academy. So that's why I think Top Chef is still in the mix this year.
Another one I think is still in the mix is American Ninja Warrior.
Perfect.
It's been nominated every year since 2016, and it feels like that show just keeps getting better. The stunts, the challenges, these obstacle courses keep getting bigger. And it also kind of feels like it's the show that has inspired some, well, let's not call them copycats, but some similar shows of late. I want to just say, like, The Floor is Lava has some tribute to pay to American Ninja Warrior. And so I think that helps it a lot in this race. It is one of the newer entries in the race, given, something like Top Chef, which has been nominated every year since 2007. But I think once it's in the running, it's going to take a lot to knock it off.
And then you mentioned Masked Singer.
It's season 3, and this is the biggest by far.
That was a show that I think a lot of people expected would get nominated last year. Well, this year there is a slot open, and Masked Singer really has been undeniable, let's face it. It was on after the Super Bowl this year, got tremendous numbers, and continued throughout the spring, and really was one of the few shows that felt like it was doing new episodes even during the pandemic, although we knew those were pre-taped, but it was something to sort of look forward to on Wednesdays as we were all stuck at home. Nick Cannon, I think I've come around. I actually am pretty impressed with his hosting skills. I like the chemistry between him and the panelists. It's just a feel-good show. I think it's time to give Masked Singer its due. So that's why maybe this year it'll get that nomination. All right, now let's talk about our picks. What would we like to see nominated, Danielle?
I want to give one to Legendary.
The most celebrated houses of history.
It just launched May 27th, so right at the end of eligibility, and it really is benefiting from that hanging episode extension this year. I like to call it a little behind the scenes of Pose in a way, because Emmy voters know Pose, obviously, from nominating it last year, a look at ballroom culture and ballroom competition specifically. And this is literally a competition program that does just that. And it's just an explosion of artistry like I have never seen before. And the support on that show just feels really, really touching, especially, right now when connection is so important.
And I want to talk about Lego Masters.
You've been chosen because you're the best of the best. And I've been chosen because I'm Batman.
I was really impressed with the casting on that show. It's probably hard enough to find true Lego Masters, but they also found a way to really lean into representation. It was a very diverse mix of contestants, both young and old, but also there was LGBTQ representation. There were several African-American contestants, Latino contestants, fathers, sons, daughters. I mean, it was a fantastic cross-section of people just coming together to play with Legos. So Lego Masters, I'm looking forward to more, but I think it's definitely worth taking a look at for potential nomination as well.
Here we go, we're building with bricks now.
All right, and that's it for Competition Series. Join us again for another category next time. For Ward Seat, I'm Michael Schneider.
I'm Danielle Terciano. Thanks for watching.